The equinox, the method of science, the aim of religion. This is a copy of the Wiser edition of the 10 numbered set of Equinox Volume 1. And I'm trying to find the publishing date on this particular one. And I can't really find it. Anyway, it's an older, probably a 1972 edition. I got my own little stamp on there. Adios at Beni, that's my magical motto, or it was at the time, which is Latin for so far, so good. On page 108 of this volume, which is Equinox Volume 1, Number 6, it contains the Rites of Eleusis, Crowley's Rites of Eleusis, but it also contains an essay, The Earth. So in a way, we've got the 7 rites of Eleusis, which come down from Saturn, Jupiter, Mars, Sol, Venus, Mercury, Luna, but it also has Earth. Kind of, it's not arranged with the rites of Eleusis, but it's in the same book. The Earth, it says, is written by Francis Bendick. So it wouldn't be the only thing in the Equinox series that was not written by Aleister Crowley. There is plenty of things in the Equinox that were written by others, including wonderful material in the early numbers by our good friend Captain Fuller, later General Fuller. Who was Francis Bendick? Allow me to weave you a fairy tale. Imagine it's about this time of year, but in 1947. And Aleister Crowley has just died a few days earlier, back on the 1st. And they held his funeral. And a handful of people showed up to his funeral, including, among others, Lady Frieda Harris. I'm reading to you from the novel, Aleister Crowley, Revolt of the Magicians. I returned to London by train with Lady Harris, who invited me to stay at her home in the city for a few days that remained before I sailed back to New York. I eagerly accepted it. It is not every day a Hollywood hack is invited to unpack his toothbrush at the home of the artist wife of an influential member of Parliament. I was especially keen to attain the lavish curry wake that Lady Harris was to host the next evening in honor of our departed master. He did so love his curry. The hotter the better. However, it was the guest list of this most esoteric of soirees that made my mouth water. One guest in particular. It would perhaps be my one and only chance to meet and interview the legendary film director, Sir Francis Bendick. Bendick was one of only a handful of British filmmakers to resist the lure of Hollywood throughout his long and distinguished career. He was a bona fide genius who helped give birth to the industry at the turn of the century. He would go on to elevate the silent medium from inane shorts and melodramas to serious literary theater. He wrote, directed, edited, and occasionally appeared in the films that continually reinvented the state of the art. Most remarkably, he worked his magic through the bloody madness called the Great War. His propaganda efforts for king and country were irresistible, powerful, poignant, and breathtakingly honest. For this, he was knighted by George V during the exuberance of the Roaring Twenties, a time when sound was giving voice to Bendick's genius of touching souls in that darkened theater. Only a handful of extraordinarily discreet individuals knew that Bendick was also a secret disciple of Aleister Crowley, and had been since 1907. He knew more about Crowley and his work than any other living human being. That he could keep such devotion a secret from his studio, his colleagues, and 3 wives for over 40 years was a testament to godlike magical prowess. Ill health and the need for secrecy had kept him from the funeral, but nothing short of death would keep him from Lady Harris's Crowley Curry wake. Bendick and I had 2 things in common. We were both ceremonial magicians, and we were both in the movie business. He at the end of his glorious and historic career, and I at the beginning of mine. Meeting him and having the chance to pick his brain was the reason I asked the studio for a month off for research. He was the reason I traveled at my own expense to dreary old England in the damp December of 1947. He and my own ambition to produce a proper movie about Aleister Crowley, the man I considered the most important, most colorful, and most misunderstood holy man of the 20th century. If all went well, Sir Francis Bendick would help me write it. The Earth by Francis Bendick. The child of miracle to the world, greeting. I reach my hands to the leaves and dabble in the dew. I sprinkle dew on you for kisses. I kneel down and hold the grass of the black earth to my bosom. I crush the earth to my lips as if it were a grape, and the wine of Demeter flushes my cheeks. They burn with joy of youth. Why should I greet the world? Because my heart is bursting with love for the world. Love, I say, why not lust? Is not lust strength and merriment and the famine that only the infinite can stay? And why do I call myself child of miracle? Because I have entered a second time into my mother's womb and I am born. Because to the knowledge of manhood has come the passion, even the folly of adolescence, with all its pride and purity. It is for this that you see me lying on the thick, wet grass, unquenchable, or rejoicing in the fat, black loam. Now, in the manner of the miracle was this. In the beginning is given to a youth a vision of his mate. This one must he henceforth seek blindly, and many are the enchantments and the disenchantments. Through this his vision fades. Even his hunger dies away unless he indeed be elect. But in the end it may be that God shall send him the other half of that token of paradise. Then, if ye have kept the holy fire alight, perhaps with much false fuel, that fire shall instant blaze and fill the temple of his soul. But its insistent energy, by its insistent energy, it shall destroy even the memory of all those marsh lights that came to greet it. And the priest shall bow down in glory and grasp the altar with his hands and strike it with his forehead 7 times. Now this altar is the earthen altar of Demeter. Then, understanding all things by the light of that love, he shall know that this love and this is the soul of the earth. That this is the fertility and the understanding, the secret of Demeter. Nay, even the oracle may speak in his heart and foretell and foreshadow the great mysteries of Persephone, of death, and of the daughter of love. Those too who are thus reborn will understand that I who write these words are stretched on the wet earth on the day of spring. It is night, but only the sea whispers of Persephone, as the stars intimate Urania, whose mystery is the third and beyond. My body is absorbed in scent and touch, for the consuming fire of my sight has burned itself out to blindness, and my mouth is only the savor of an infinite kiss. The moist earth burns my lips. My fingers search down about the roots of the grass. The life of earth itself is my life. I shall be glad to be buried in the earth. Let my body dissolve into hers, putrefying in her reviving limbic. He never loved who let them case him in a coffin from the supreme embrace. It is from the earth, bride of the sun, that all bodily strength derives. It is no figure that Antaeus regained all of his force when he touched earth. It is no pedantry and folly of the Hindus who, fearing bodily lust, isolate their acolytes from earth. No futility of their doctrine of prana and tamaguna. It is not mere faith healing that this hygiene of Father Nep and his failures are those who retain decorum and melancholy, who follow the letter and not the spirit, cold-blooded treaders upon earth instead of passionate lovers of its strength. It is no accident of mythology that the Titans made war upon the gods and in Prometheus overthrew them. It was when Canute failed to drive back the sea that his dynasty was lost to that Norman William who caught hold of Mother Earth with both hands. When I was a child, I fell, and the scars of the earth are on my forehead at this hour. When I was a boy, I was hurt by the explosion of a buried jar of gunpowder, and the scars of the earth are on my face at this hour. Since then, I have been the lover of the earth that wooed me thus roughly. Many a night I have slept upon her naked breast, in forest and on glacier, upon great plains and upon lonely crags, in heat and cold, fair weather and foul. My blood is the blood of the earth. My life is hers, and as she is a spark thrown off from the whirling brilliance of the sun, so do I know myself to be a spark of infinite God. Seek earth, and heaven shall be added unto you. Back to our mother, drive the shining spade into her womb. Wrinkle her with your furrows, she will only smile more kindly. Let your sweat, the sweat of your toil, which is your passion, drip like benediction from on high upon her. She will render corn and wine. Also your wife shall be desirable in your eyes all the days of your life, and your children shall be strong and comely, and the blessing of the Most High shall be upon you. Then let your grasp relax in the satiety of death, and your weight shall cumber the earth, and the little children of the earth shall make merry with you until the rose strikes its root into your breast. Then shall your body be one again with the mother, and your soul one with the Father, as it is written in the book of the law. All this I have been taught by her, whose purity and strength are even as the earth's chosen before the foundation of time. Lioness with lion, may we walk by night among the ruins of great cities, when, weary with happiness too great even for our immortality, we turn from the fragrance and the fertility of earth. And at the sunrise return where the peopled valleys call us, where bronzed and buoyant our children sing aloud as they drive home the spade. Glory be to the earth, and to the sun, and to the holy body and soul of man. And glory be to love, and to the Father of love, the secret unity of all things. Glory be to the shrine within the temple, and to the God within the shrine, to the Word, and to the silence that bore it unto him that is beyond silence and speech. And thanksgiving in the highest for the gift of all these things, and for the maiden in whom these things are found, for the holy body and soul of man, and for the sun, and for the earth. Amen. Francis Bendick. Well, it is Friday. Get ready and have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. And I'll see you tomorrow for Saturday morning peanut butter and toast and cartoons. Anyway, Continue to be good to yourself and be good to each other. Do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. Love is the law, love under will.